How's it going, bookworms, and welcome back to another chill, honest reads. And today we'll continue our journey on the phase train by looking back at the Gone series yet again. This time focusing on the third book, Lies. Now, I'm feeling that by the end of this, and by the title of this book, I'm gonna feel a little cheated, but let's just hope that lives up with the last two books. Again, this is a continuation, which means spoilers. If you have not caught up with the last two books and wish to be kept in the dark, this is your warning. Now with that said, let's begin. 7 months, people. We are at 7 months with these kids, and somehow they're still walking and talking. After the events of the power plant and Computer Jack just wiping out all electricity, Perdido Beach now lives off sunlight and Sammy's suns, balls of floating green light made from Sam Temple's powers. And these kids have been put to work. I mean, some are picking from the cabbage fields, some are hunting in the forest, and some are even fishing out to sea. I mean, now that the major threat of Drake and the Gaia Phage are wiped out, Sam can finally relax. In fact, he doesn't have to make a goddamn decision anymore. A town council has been made to try and reform this new phase society. But as we all know, nothing is ever made easy in the phase. The human crew led by Zeal starts to act out their ideals for a non-freak world. Orson the Dream Girl becomes some religious figure among some kids as someone who could see the outside world and thinks that the poof is actually a good thing. And there's also been some zombie sightings of both Brittany and Drake. These are the problems that fall upon Sam and the council. Sam wants to act aggressively, the council wants order. Some want to be truthful, and the others want to lie. All in all, you can be damn sure that these polar opposites are going to raise some hell. One thing to know about Lies is that it is very character driven, nothing like the last two books that had a fair amount of action. The plot is carried by what you know about these characters so far, along with traumatizing events, and the story is told through their emotions and fears. Sam Temple is sort of our main protagonist. I say that because he kind of bails halfway through the story. In the last book, he was brutally whipped by Drake. In this one, it explores the major effects it had on him. Starts with a few nightmares, but then the paranoia comes in once he actually hears the rumors that Drake might actually be alive. And that's not even the half of it. I mean, the other half is dealing with Zeal and the human crew who are actually doing some bad shit out there, and Sam can't do nothing about it. He wants to do something, but the council won't let him. They want to fix their rule system, but Sam is just suppressed. I kid you not, this boy is suppressing his emotions long enough to actually contemplate murder. And you know what? In his position, I don't blame him. Astrid is actually more prominent in the book because she's finally dating Sam. Congrats! They're actually the first couple of the phase, which gets really complicated really fast because guess what? She's had the council along with Delio, Albert, Sam, Decca, John, and Howard. With this newfound power and leadership, she's getting into the idea of trying to reform this kid's society, spending the last 4 months trying to look for the right rules and regulations. But that's the problem. Since the rules aren't up and Zeal Sperry is still roaming around, she won't allow Sam to do nada. She's got the power over him, but once she's got a little taste of what he's actually been able to go through, things get pretty real. Zeal Sperry plays a huge role in this as the antagonist running the revolution against the freaks. I mean, that's how the book starts, with his crew actually separating this little girl Jill away from her brother just because she has the freak power of a siren. You know, those mythological creatures that confuse sailors with their angelic voice. He's still all talk from what it looks like. I mean, he still feels a little insecure about his leadership and actually steals ideas from his followers. I mean, he's easily manipulated by Cain to actually raise hell in the town. You can call him anything you want, but not a leader. Speaking of Cain, he's off on his own adventure. A trip to Treasure Island thanks to Bug and the magazine. At this point in the story, he's a lot more weaker now thanks to starvation. And I guess that alliance between him and Sam in the last book didn't last long enough, and he waited until the point of cannibalism to say enough is enough. He's going to Fantasy Island to find food, even if he dies trying. And spoiler alert, that island is actually real, as we're introduced to 5 new kids adopted from a rich celebrity couple. We got Sanjit, Virtue, Peace, Bowie, and Pixie. But we're just gonna focus on Sanjit and Virtue because they are the oldest of the group and actually gather attention from the story. There is a dynamic between the two, with Sanjit being more optimistic and Virtue actually seeing the glass half empty at times. But due to the differences, still brothers, and they're trying to get off their fancy island together. Brittany's back, bitch! As a zombie. From hunger, she's one of Adelia's soldiers who died trying to protect the power plant. But at that moment, we learn that she has the freak power to not die? The details are still a little fuzzy with me. But in this book, she's back, actually digging herself out of her own grave. And she starts to see visions of her dead baby brother, claiming that she is some sort of angel and has a mission from the Lord himself. But as you keep reading, you start to see that something is not quite right. You know, aside from the fact that she's a fucking zombie. Or say it's the girl from Hunger who can actually see in the kid's dreams. Here, they turn her into a goddamn prophet, with people claiming that she has the power to see the dreams of the adults outside the phase wall. And yes, there is something that is revealed about the outside world. Possibly. She claims that she has the ability to communicate with the adults and deliver their dream messages. She's got her groupies and her own personal assistant named Narissa that just comes out of nowhere. But she also has doubt in her predictions. Doubt that Aster uses to convince the council to keep all this in the down low for the entire town until things become a little bit clearer. And finally we got Mary. Pour off her meds, Mary. She's starting to lose it, guys. She really is. I mean, the medication for her eating disorder is gone and she's starting to take a buttload of antidepressants. Her best volunteer worker, Francis, just turned the big 1-5 and decided to leave the phase, giving Mary even more stress and work at the daycare. I mean, it feels like the whole world is on her shoulders, and since her birthday is actually coming up soon, it opens up a lot of opportunities for her. And because of this major focus on the characters, the drama and tension will rise tenfold. You either sympathize, despise, or completely disregard any of them until the action actually starts. Your choice. Just like the last two books, the title becomes a central theme. You got these kids running around spreading gossips and rumors here and there, so much that it is unbelievable to think what is true and what is false. And no one comes out safe from all of this. Sam is keeping secrets from Astrid. Astrid is trying to convince the council to lie to the people. The lies are just spreading like a virus, enough that their judgment is either clouded by their determination to fix the situation in the shadows or pursuing something that isn't real. The tone for this book is also pretty interesting as it contains some thriller elements, especially when the name Drake Merwin is mentioned. And this information is kind of treated like he's some sort of phantom or figment of everyone's imagination, which is great to build tension and create that illusion that someone might not make it in the next page flip. And Michael Grant, congratulations, you fixed your endings! I mean, it could be because they got an updated version of the book, but this final chapter ended how it should, without any cliffhangers or one hanging sentences just to ruin with a sequel. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are hints about the sequel, Plague, but they're scattered through the chapters and vague enough to work. Seriously, Michael, congrats. I know I said that this book is less focused on the action and more on the characters, but it still takes a while for anything to happen. I mean, everything doesn't connect until you get halfway through the book. At some point, I was just wondering, alright, I collected all this information, how long will things start moving forward before I bash my head against this wall? And some of the characters that were introduced and even given some perspectives didn't really lead to anything specific. I mean, take this kid in Kane's group called Paint. He was given a few paragraphs for no reason. I thought he was going to be pretty important with a name like Paint, but Kane just abandons him and another kid on the ship and we never see them again. But that's just over and done with. I mean, this perspective of a 5-year-old kid named Justin and his roommate Roger was pointless. It didn't lead to anything huge, just their minuscule involvement within the bigger chain of events of the story. I mean, all the time I just kept wondering, why am I reading this? Why did Grant write this? Was he trying to create another Doug Zhang incident? Look, Doug Zhang, the subplot in Hunger, was awesome. It would be hard to replicate. If these kids were actually involved in trying to cause a scene or helping out within the bigger picture of the story, I wouldn't be complaining. But for me, it just felt like unnecessary filter. Overall, Lies was another hit in the series, though I would say that it wasn't up there. Since most of the important events happened around page 200, it just felt like there was not enough provided, not like the previous books. I liked it for its development and character, but for the most part it just felt like filler and build up for the next sequel, Plague. It was okay, but so far the weakest in the series. Anyway, those are my final thoughts on Lies by Michael Grant. If you read it yourself, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I'm Katana, and I'll see you all in the next review. Take care, guys.